cast my mind to Calvary, where Jesus bled and died for me. I see his wounds, his hands, his feet, my Savior on that cursed tree. His body bound and drenched in tears, they laid him down in Joseph's
Allison Akene Ayida, a renowned sage, quintessential public servant, and elder statesman, was born on June 16, 1930 in Belebu, near Siloko, in present-day Edo State. Both of his parents were from Ugbegi in Warri North local government area of Delta State. His early education was at the United Nigeria African Church School in Belebu, the Roman Catholic Mission School Obiaja, and Ogisi Memorial School in Okere, Warri.
In that 1946 episode, he had been brought to Lagos by his parents to continue his secondary school level education with Brother Nuke. With Nuke's guidance, he had already been slated for the entrance examination to King's College, Lagos, and had in fact taken it by the time we met.
That young Allison Ayida successfully gained admission into the prestigious King's College, Lagos, all the way from Warri, is a loud testimony to his outstanding, brilliant performance as a schoolboy.
I first met Allison Akene Ayida in January 1947 when he was admitted into King's College, Lagos. You know, in our class, he was always one of the best three.
After his higher school certificate, Allison Ayida proceeded to Queen's College, Oxford, where he received his bachelor's degree in politics, philosophy, and economics. Mr. Ayida started his postgraduate in money and banking at the London School of Economics and Political Science, but abruptly returned home when his father died. Upon his return in 1957, he was appointed Assistant Secretary in the Federal Ministry of Education. In 1958, he was posted to the Ministry of Finance, where he played a significant role in the setting up of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN. Mr. Ayida later became Permanent Secretary at the Federal Ministry of Economic Development and Reconstruction. By the time he retired, he had successfully served 3 heads of state: General Yakubu Gowon, 1966 to 1975, General Murtala Mohammed, 1975 to 1976, and General Olusegun Obasanjo, 1976 to 1979.
It was Allison Ayida and men and women of his group, which in those days they called super permanent secretaries, that saved Nigeria from disintegrating after the second coup, when there was no political leadership to hold the country together.
We respect one another and we trust one another, and we certainly try to check one another so that we do not do anything that is wrong.
For his laudable service, he was appointed Nigeria's highest civil servant in 1975 as head of service and 5th Secretary to the Federal Military Government, SGF. Mr. Ayida played a key role in the setting up of the Council of Retired Former Permanent Secretaries.
I mean, you grew up in the service wanting to be like Mr. Ayida. Because, I mean, the kind of performance standard they set, raised the bar so high for every serious and dedicated civil servant.
When I think of Allison, I think of him first as a very modest man, in spite of all that's going for him. I think of him as a man of great courage. But he remained a shining example to us as an exemplary civil servant, known for his distinction and for his clarity of mind.
Allison Ayida served as chairman and member of several boards such as CFAO Nigeria Limited as well as Berger Paints.
I once asked one of the sons what was his perception or his understanding about his father. Was this man born great? And quickly he responded, my father was not born great, but he has achieved greatness through his scholastic and academic ability. When I wrote him once a time to say, I'd like to have you as my mentor.
And in the last probably 18 years that I've been on the board, it was interesting to see the transition from somebody who spoke so highly of my father being a mentor to now transferring that into a mentoring role, which I now assume. So in a way, his influence transcended him, and I learned a great deal about how he viewed things through the prism of somebody else's lens.
Mr. Ayida was a decorated author of many books, including National Reconstruction and Development, 1969, Nigerian Revolution, 1973, Federal Civil Service and Nation Building, 1976, Reflections on Nigerian Development, 1987, and The Rise and Fall of Nigeria, the History and Philosophy of an Experiment in African Nation Building, 1990.
In the death of Mr. Ayida, I have lost more than a friend. What I can say about his quality is that he is a man of great patience, a man of good humor, a man who can work with other people.
I'm here to talk a little bit about some of the staff members we had in the house that passed away this year. All right, Chike, my father's PA, Dixon, my father's driver and house driver, and Okon, who was my dad's right-hand man. All the staff that I've mentioned were with us for decades. So the fact that they stayed with us for so long, stayed with my father for so long, was a real testament to my father's character, to the kind of person that he was. He ignited loyalty.
It is nice to know that success has not transformed the man from being a humble man to being an arrogant person. You cannot but say to yourself, these are the type of people this nation needs.
Creditably, he was a recipient of the National Honor, Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic, CFR, an honorary degree of law from the University of Benin, this day Lifetime Achievement awarded by former French Prime Minister Dominique de Villepin, and held a foreign national honor, National Demerit, Officer Clan Liord.
He never turned his back on his people. He also supported the concept of creating a warrior kingdom.
As a meritorious public servant, a devout family man, and faithful born-again Christian, his legacies shall continue to inspire generations to come.
I met him at a party, and I didn't recognize him. It was at the end of the party. The following day, I had a phone call from a gentleman And he said, I met you at the party, we were not introduced, but I heard you when you were giving your address to a friend, and I memorized your telephone number.
Allison Ayida married Oluremi Victoria Sheke, and they were blessed with 5 children. Mrs. Alero Ayida Otobo, Dr. Bubemi Ayida Akerele, Mr. Omashein Ayida, Mr. Abi Ayida, and Mr. Maje Ayida.
Mr. Ayida will continue to be remembered in our Savior's Church for his intervention in 2 key areas. The church was engulfed in a crisis. The crisis was almost getting to a head when Mr. Ayida had to intervene and brought the 2 parties together in a peace meeting. Secondly, during my time, the church acquired a pipe organ. At a stage, it was becoming problematic to get the funds coming in. Just one afternoon, I got a phone call from Mr. Ayida, and he surprised me and said, well, thank God for these prayers. The Lord has answered the prayers, and Daddy and I, we want to do something. They actually did something, which saved the church from the embarrassment of not meeting our contractual obligations with the external suppliers and the builders.
Both the Ayidas here have shoulders you can cry on.
Like I always say, there are different types of fathers, but my father, our father, has been an outstanding success. Family holidays, the lunches, our memories, I believe all of us will treasure. They've been very special occasions. And also he's done something wonderful. He's provided us with, each and every one of us, with an education that will stand the test of time.
As a sportsman, he enjoyed table tennis, swimming, and football. However, he will forever best be known for his love of lawn tennis and support for the Lagos Lawn Tennis Club.
What I found rather, intriguing, and that seems like out of space today, is that you could actually remain as head of civil service to 3 heads of state. Our experience is that whoever comes in power would want to have a new crew and go on. But how did you manage that? How did you swindle that one?
The idea was you did your work and you were loyal to anybody, provided it was loyal to the state. Where it departed from being loyal to the state, you have a duty to point it out. By doing your work, you were respected and accepted. It wasn't because they like you, it wasn't anything else, it is what you stood for.
That is Mr. Allison Ayida, whose 20 years uninterrupted service saw him play a major role in the creation of the Midwest region in 1963, 12-state structure in 1967, expansion to 19 states in 1976, peace, war, reconciliation, reconstruction and rehabilitation, and recommendations for the civil service reforms still implemented today. All these constitute a testimony to his stature as Nigeria's foremost civil servant of all time.